In a significant diplomatic move, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has secured an unprecedented agreement with El Salvador whereby the Central American nation will accept deportees from the United States, including dangerous criminals regardless of nationality. This agreement, described by Rubio as an extraordinary act of friendship, came to light during his meetings with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele on February 3, 2025, amid a broader effort by the Trump administration to tackle immigration issues in the region. During his visit, Rubio emphasized that Bukele's commitment represents a remarkable shift in U.S. Central American relations, particularly concerning the management of deportees. He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, Rubio stated, adding that this includes American citizens imprisoned in the U.S. for violent offenses. The agreement, which Bukele confirmed via social media, outlines that El Salvador would charge a fee for housing these inmates, a move seen as a potential revenue stream for a country grappling with its own challenges. This development comes against a backdrop of heightened tensions over immigration in the United States, where the Trump administration continues to prioritize a crackdown on illegal immigration. The U.S. Secretary of State's tour of Central America, which includes stops in Costa Rica and Guatemala, aims to reinforce regional cooperation on border security while addressing the root causes of migration. The implications of this agreement are manifold. While it may alleviate some pressure on U.S. detention facilities, it raises significant ethical concerns, especially regarding the treatment of deported individuals in El Salvador's notoriously harsh prison system. The State Department has previously described these facilities as harsh and dangerous, with inadequate provisions for sanitation, lighting, and ventilation. Critics, including human rights activists, have warned that the agreement could lead to a potential violation of international norms concerning the treatment of asylum seekers and refugees. Moreover, the timing of this deal coincides with broader changes in U.S. foreign policy, particularly regarding the United States Agency for International Development (USAID). Amid rumors of a significant restructuring under the Trump administration, Rubio announced that he would temporarily oversee USAID, which has been criticized for its perceived inefficacy. The agency, established in 1961, has been under scrutiny from Trump and his advisor Elon Musk, who have suggested that it should be dissolved or integrated into the State Department. The political ramifications of this restructuring are significant, with Democratic lawmakers decrying the move as unconstitutional and harmful to U.S. influence abroad. They argue that dismantling USAID would undermine humanitarian efforts worldwide, particularly in regions that rely heavily on U.S. assistance. As the administration moves forward with these plans, it remains to be seen how this will impact U.S. foreign aid programs and the ability of the United States to respond to global crises. In conclusion, the agreement between the United States and El Salvador marks a pivotal moment in immigration policy and U.S.-Latin American relations. As Secretary Rubio continues his tour through Central America, the full ramifications of this deal, as well as the restructuring of USAID, will unfold, potentially reshaping the landscape of U.S. foreign policy and its approach to international aid. As the situation develops, all eyes will be on how these changes influence both domestic and international perceptions of U.S. commitment to humanitarian values and regional stability. In a decisive move that underscores the Trump administration's commitment to border security. Newly appointed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth marked his first official visit to the U.S. Mexico border in El Paso, Texas on February 3, 2025. This visit is part of a broader strategy aimed at reinforcing immigration enforcement and establishing what Hegseth described as a new era at the southern boundary of the United States. Accompanied by border czar Tom Homan, Hegseth emphasized the administration's stance that border security is intrinsically linked to national security. During his visit, Hegseth observed military operations at Fort Bliss and met with various personnel involved in border enforcement. He stated, because of President Trump, this is a new era at the southern border. It's one of determination and cooperation, and the Department of Defense is proud to be a part of it. The Secretary elaborated that the goal is to achieve 100% operational control of the southern border. a directive he reiterated as crucial to the administration's mission. As part of the ongoing efforts, approximately 1,500 troops have been deployed to Fort Bliss, ready to assist Border Patrol agents in their tasks. Hegseth noted the historical context of military involvement at the border, asserting the Department of Defense has been helping on the border for decades, just not at the level we have been charged to be by President Trump. He underscored the administration's commitment to addressing human smuggling and cartel activity, stating all options are on the table. We're going to secure this border and the men and women who protect it. The visit also coincided with a bilateral agreement with Mexico, where President Claudia Sheinbaum pledged to deploy an additional 10,000 troops to secure the Mexican side of the border. This agreement was pivotal in averting a potential trade war, as President Trump had threatened to impose significant tariffs on Mexican goods if cooperation on border security did not improve. Economists warned that such tariffs would likely lead to increased prices for American consumers, making the diplomatic resolution all the more critical. Hegseth's visit comes at a time of heightened scrutiny surrounding his nomination as Secretary of Defense. Despite facing allegations regarding his past conduct, including accusations of sexual misconduct and alcohol abuse, Hegseth's mother publicly defended him, urging senators to focus on his current character rather than past mistakes. Penelope Hegseth's remarks echoed a broader narrative from the Trump administration, which has positioned itself as a transformative force in U.S. politics and governance. As discussions about Hegseth's confirmation continue, the secretary remains active on Capitol Hill, seeking to rally support for his nomination while outlining plans for significant reforms within the Pentagon. His commitment to reshaping military involvement in border security reflects a strategic pivot that resonates with the administration's broader agenda of enhancing national security and immigration enforcement. Moving forward, the implications of Hegseth's policies at the border will likely influence both immigration reform and U.S. Mexico relations. With ongoing discussions regarding troop deployments and operational strategies, the coming months will be critical in determining the effectiveness of these initiatives and their impact on border security in the United States. In a highly contentious political landscape, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination to head the Department of Health and Human Services (HHS) has taken a significant step forward. The Senate Finance Committee voted 14-13 along party lines to advance Kennedy's nomination, setting the stage for a full Senate vote that will ultimately determine his fate as the nation's top health official. This vote comes on the heels of two intense confirmation hearings where Kennedy faced rigorous questioning from both sides of the aisle. Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana and a physician, was initially hesitant about supporting Kennedy due to concerns about his history of questioning vaccine safety. Cassidy, who has been vocal about his worries that Kennedy's views could undermine public confidence in vaccines, ultimately decided to back the nomination after what he described as very intense conversations with Kennedy and the White House. In a post on social media platform X, Cassidy expressed his appreciation for the commitments he received from the administration, particularly regarding shared goals around health initiatives. Kennedy's path to confirmation has not been smooth. During his confirmation hearings, he was grilled on various issues, particularly his previous statements undermining vaccine safety and his ties to vaccine-related litigation. Senators Ron Wyden and Elizabeth Warren, both Democrats, have raised alarms about potential conflicts of interest, questioning whether Kennedy could financially benefit from decisions he would make as HHS secretary, particularly regarding vaccine guidelines. The senators pointed out that Kennedy has earned substantial referral fees from a law firm involved in litigation against vaccine manufacturers, a situation they deem problematic given his prospective role overseeing public health policies. Despite the concerns voiced by Democrats and some Republicans, Kennedy's nomination reflects a broader political shift. Initially a Democratic presidential candidate, Kennedy has aligned himself with President Donald Trump, who has publicly expressed his support for Kennedy's nomination. The president criticized the slow pace of the confirmation process, urging Republicans to act decisively to expedite the approval of his nominees. Trump's administration has been keen on quickly filling key cabinet positions, with Kennedy's nomination now becoming a focal point in the ongoing political discourse surrounding public health and vaccine policies in the United States. As the nomination heads to the Senate floor, Republicans can afford to lose only 3 votes to confirm Kennedy without bipartisan support, with Vice President J.D. Vance poised to cast a tie-breaking vote if necessary. Republican Senators Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell have previously expressed reservations about Kennedy's controversial views. This uncertainty suggests that Kennedy's confirmation is far from guaranteed, and the ensuing debates will likely revolve around critical health issues that resonate with the American public. The outcome of Kennedy's nomination will not only affect the direction of the HHS but also set the tone for future discussions about vaccine safety, public health policy, and the intersection of politics and science. As the nation grapples with ongoing health challenges, the implications of Kennedy's tenure, should he be confirmed, could have lasting impacts on public trust in health institutions and the administration of health policies in the United States. The coming weeks are likely to see intensified scrutiny and debate as both supporters and opponents ramp up their efforts ahead of the Senate vote. The political landscape in Washington is poised for a significant shift as the Senate prepares for a crucial vote on Pam Bondi's nomination as Attorney General. Following a procedural delay caused by Senate Democrats, the former Florida Attorney General's confirmation is now expected to take place on Wednesday. This development comes amid a backdrop of partisan tensions and concerns over the potential direction of the Justice Department under her leadership. Pam Bondi's nomination, which was initially brought to the Senate floor on Monday, faced immediate pushback from Democratic senators who successfully stalled a full vote. Although a cloture motion to advance her nomination passed with a 52-46 vote, it did so entirely along party lines with no support from Democrats. This lack of bipartisan consensus reflects deep-seated concerns among Democrats regarding Bondi's past as a lobbyist and her perceived loyalty to former President Donald Trump, whose administration is often scrutinized for political interference in the Justice Department. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, expressed disappointment over the partisan divide, asserting that Bondi's qualifications warrant broader support. "If my colleagues won't cross the aisle for this qualified nominee," Grassley stated, "they'll show that they're intent on opposing President Trump's picks for purely partisan reasons." He highlighted Bondi's track record in Florida, where she tackled issues such as pill mills and the backlog of rape test kits, painting her as a capable candidate ready to restore faith in the Justice Department. However, skepticism remains among Democrats, particularly from Senate Judiciary Ranking Member Dick Durbin, who raised alarms about the implications of Bondi's confirmation. In a pointed letter to Bondi, Durbin sought clarity on her involvement in significant personnel changes at the Justice Department, specifically the dismissal of FBI investigators and prosecutors involved in cases related to the January 6 Capitol riots. As America faces a heightened threat landscape, these shocking removals and reassignments deprive DOJ and the FBI of experienced leadership, Durbin noted, underscoring the stakes involved in her potential confirmation. The procedural maneuvers surrounding Bondi's nomination have not only delayed the vote but also sparked broader discussions within the Senate. During debates, Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii took the opportunity to criticize the ceasing of funding for USAID, further complicating the political dynamics at play. As the Senate gears up for the anticipated vote on Wednesday, the outcome will not only determine Pam Bondi's future but may also set a precedent for how the Justice Department operates under the influence of a politically aligned Attorney General. The stakes are high, with many watching closely to see whether Bondi can navigate the complexities of her role while maintaining the integrity of the Justice Department amidst ongoing partisan pressures. Looking ahead, the confirmation of Bondi will likely shape the trajectory of the Justice Department during a critical period for American governance, especially as the Biden administration continues to confront challenges related to political accountability and law enforcement. As the vote approaches, the political ramifications of Bondi's nomination will undoubtedly resonate beyond the walls of the Senate, influencing public perception of the Justice Department's independence and efficacy in the years to come. In a significant shift within the U.S. financial regulatory landscape, President Trump has appointed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as the acting director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau (CFPB) following the ousting of Rohit Chopra. This move, announced shortly after Bessent's confirmation as Treasury Secretary, signals a new direction for the CFPB, which has been under increasing scrutiny and political contention in recent years. Bessent's appointment comes just days after Chopra's abrupt dismissal, a decision anticipated by many in the industry given the former director's aggressive approach to expanding the Bureau's authority over banks and financial institutions. Chopra, who was nominated by former President Biden and had a term extending until 2026, faced backlash from Republican lawmakers and banking groups advocating for his removal. His tenure was marked by efforts to enhance consumer protections, which some in the financial sector viewed as overreach. In his first statement as acting director, Bessent expressed his commitment to advancing Trump's economic agenda, specifically mentioning the goal of lowering costs for Americans and fostering economic growth. "I look forward to working with the CFPB to advance President Trump's agenda," he stated, reflecting the administration's broader priorities. However, shortly after his appointment, Bessent implemented a freeze on much of the Bureau's ongoing activities. An internal email directed staff to halt the approval and issuance of proposed or final rules and to suspend any enforcement investigations that were in progress. This pause has raised concerns among consumer advocacy groups who fear a rollback of protections established under previous administrations. Christine Chenzinner, a senior lawyer for Americans for Financial Reform, emphasized the importance of the CFPB's mission, warning against succumbing to pressure from financial interests to undermine its authority. The implications of Bessent's leadership extend beyond the CFPB. As Treasury Secretary, he will play a pivotal role in shaping the administration's tax policies, tariff agenda, and budgetary strategies, all while overseeing the critical functions of the CFPB. His dual role highlights the interconnectedness of financial regulation and economic policy, especially in a climate where consumer protection efforts are increasingly at odds with the interests of major financial institutions. While banking trade groups have welcomed Bessent's appointment, viewing it as an opportunity to rescind what they describe as partisan policies detrimental to consumers, progressive advocates urge him to prioritize the Bureau's foundational mission. Bessent's past as a billionaire hedge fund manager raises additional questions regarding his approach to consumer protection and financial regulation. As the CFPB enters this new chapter under Bessent's leadership, all eyes will be on the administration's next steps. The direction the Bureau takes in the coming months could have lasting effects on consumer financial protection and the broader regulatory environment, particularly as the Biden administration's legacy hangs in the balance. Moving forward, the interactions between Bessent industry stakeholders and advocacy groups will be crucial in determining how effectively the CFPB can navigate the complex landscape of financial regulation. In a striking development that highlights the growing scrutiny of the cryptocurrency landscape, Howard Lutnick, the chairman of Cantor Fitzgerald, recently softened his previously bullish stance on Tether's stability during a Senate hearing. This change comes as concerns about Tether's reserves and its pivotal role in the crypto market continue to mount. Lutnick's testimony before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation on January 29, 2025 has drawn attention not only for its implications on Tether but also for its potential impact on the broader regulatory environment surrounding cryptocurrencies. Lutnick's position on Tether, which issues the largest stablecoin USDT, has been under fire, particularly as the crypto industry grapples with calls for greater transparency. In the past, he had assured stakeholders that Tether's reserves were robust and that the company could produce liquidity on demand. However, during the recent hearing, he appeared to retract some of these assurances, stating Cantor Fitzgerald is not conducting continuous diligence on Tether's financial statements. But I believe my statements were accurate when made. This acknowledgement of the limitations and oversight has raised eyebrows and led to increased scrutiny from both lawmakers and market observers. Lutnick confirmed that Cantor Fitzgerald holds convertible debt issued by Tether's parent company, an investment he clarified does not equate to an ownership stake in the stablecoin issuer. Cantor Fitzgerald's debt investment in Tether does not constitute an equity interest, he emphasized. Despite this clarification, the relationship between Cantor Fitzgerald and Tether remains a focal point of concern, especially amid ongoing debates about the necessity of independent audits for stablecoin issuers. Critics have long argued that an audit of Tether's financial statements is overdue, considering the critical role USDT plays in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. As the hearing unfolded, the committee's members pressed Lutnick on whether he would advocate for an independent audit of Tether. His response was non-committal, stating, "Upon my confirmation as Secretary of Commerce, I will faithfully execute my duties consistent with applicable government ethics laws and regulations." This response suggests that while he acknowledges the importance of transparency, he is cautious about making commitments that could conflict with his forthcoming role in the government. Market sentiment reflects the growing anxiety surrounding Tether's stability. On platforms like Polymarket, bettors currently assign a 10% chance that Tether may become insolvent in 2025, while a 14% chance is attributed to the stablecoin losing its peg to the US dollar. These figures underscore the precariousness of Tether's position in an increasingly skeptical market. Lutnick also took the opportunity to address allegations regarding his influence on cryptocurrency regulation, asserting that he has never suggested any improper actions related to Tether. He cautioned that U.S. Congress must tread carefully when considering legislation that could undermine the dollar's dominance in the blockchain space, reflecting broader concerns about the regulatory landscape as it pertains to digital assets. As the cryptocurrency sector continues to evolve, Lutnick's testimony signals a pivotal moment in the discourse surrounding stablecoins and their governance. The implications of his softened stance may resonate beyond Tether, influencing regulatory frameworks and the overall perception of the cryptocurrency market. With ongoing discussions about the necessity for transparency and regulation within the industry, stakeholders will be watching closely to see how these developments unfold. The future of Tether and the broader stablecoin market hangs in the balance as the Senate and other regulatory bodies deliberate on the path forward.